So stuck into the government funding bill that reopened the government and everything, we talked about there was a provision in there that would allow senators who had their phone records seized by a lawful subpoena because of their connections to January 6th, they could sue for up to $500,000 for every violation. And there was a whole list of things that was in there that would be more money, more money, more money. They could make millions off this thing. The House of Representatives passed a resolution, a bill, and we don't know if Donald Trump would sign this if it passes the Senate, but they passed it yesterday with unanimous consent. We had talked that they were going to try to repeal this thing, and I thought that might have been one of the sticking points that would have prevented the funding bill from being passed to reopen the government, but it wasn't. Now, they're going to try to repeal it. Well, they asked for unanimous consent in the Senate to pass it. Lindsey Graham shut it down. He was one of the senators who had their phone records looked into by Jack Smith as part of his investigation into January 6th. And there was some speculation that Lindsey Graham was involved. Now, it was a lawful subpoena. Now, MAGA and Trump supporters are going to come out to their defense and say, well, was it really lawful? And because Lindsey Graham says on the Senate floor, well, what did I do wrong? Why did I have my phone records seized? Well, you were under investigation for your ties to what was an insurrection. And that was a lawful subpoena. They had to go to a judge and prove probable cause that they had reason to believe you were committing a crime and that there was some evidence in your phone records. But you don't want that to happen. You don't think that you should have your phone records looked at. Even though you're a politician, you are still a citizen of this country. If you commit a crime, they are investigating said crime. They could look at your phone records. If I committed a crime and they wanted to look at my phone records, I would have expected it. And I wouldn't get to say, well, no, you owe me $500,000 for this whole list of things that, I'm saying you shouldn't have looked at my phone records for. That's not how that works, Lindsey. Now, we will see if the Senate actually brings it up for an actual vote and if it passes. Now, this only affects about 8 senators that had their phone records looked at. And if they bring it up for a vote, it probably will pass because this isn't a good look for Republicans. But Lindsey Graham should have kept his mouth shut. They should have just passed it with unanimous consent and realized it was a dumb play. Asking for the ability to make millions while people are going without is a bad look for Republicans.